Look, you guys, mushrooms. Isn't that cool? I got my first flush yesterday, but we're going to be talking about this very soon. First, we need to talk about the worms. It's been about 10 days since we fed them, and I'm a little worried because I don't know if you can tell, but there's a few little mites kind of going around here, and I haven't opened the bin since I last fed them, and I also haven't really noticed any drip coming out of here, but I'm a little worried that when we open this up, we're gonna have flies. What do you think, Wally? We're gonna have flies? TBD? Okay. I have a feeling that we're gonna have flies in here, which is a bummer because I almost made it a whole year without any major problems in my urban worm bag, but you know, it is summertime in Florida. So I've moved the camera down so you can see. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep. There are a lot of flies. Yep. Okay. Definitely flies. I don't know if you guys can see them all moving around on the screen. Interesting. And we have a lot more worms active in here. So that not great. Not great. Okay, so change of plans. It does kind of look like everything's compressed over here, doesn't it? The last feeding we did was the watermelon rinds over here. So it's interesting seeing the worms on the perimeter. There's also a ton of mites over here. I don't know if you can tell, but they're in here. You guys see that? Tons of mites in here. So that escalated quickly. Let's see how our food situation's doing, because it definitely looks like it compressed a lot over here. Oh, well, there, I guess we can tell. There is plenty of watermelons left, which is interesting because I thought for sure with a 10-day window they would have demolished it. And there's plenty of worms in here. I think there's just more, I don't know, food than I guess they needed. For 10 days though, that's very interesting. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna just reseal everything up. And then instead of feeding them, I'm gonna go get some shredded paper and boxes and stuff. And we're just gonna max this out with bedding today. We are gonna go hard at these mites and flies. So what we're gonna do, we're not gonna feed since there's clearly food right now in there somehow, which I'm very surprised because watermelon usually just goes super quick. So definitely something going on. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna bury everything as much as we can, a lot of bedding in there. So we're also gonna be adding some mosquito bits, which I realize they don't work unless they're submerged, but if there is enough moisture to potentially be courting some of these pests, if there's a chance that the water in an area can soak up some mosquito bits and, you know, kill some of them, that's fine. If not, they'll get activated when it's too wet. We haven't added any grit in a long time, so we're gonna mix in some grits while we're going. But we have shredded paper bags and cardboard, tissues, some still post-op, and then a lot of like kitchen paper towels that were sort of dirty but not like terribly dirty, no cleaning supplies. And we're gonna layer all of that in the bin. But I wanted to show you guys how much bedding we are adding because there's gonna be a lot. Like, we're maxing this out. Those flies are not getting out. They're just gonna stay in there. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is move this large cardboard that's been kind of the protector at the top for a little while, so we can really get at the main bin. And it's definitely, I don't know what it is, like what happened maybe the last week or two since we checked on it, but it really looks like it's submerged and it kind of caved in a little bit. So maybe it did, maybe it's just, I don't know, the moisture's finally dripping out of it because it's so hot here in Florida. I don't know. So since we know that there's food that we dug up over here, we're not going to add any food, but we are going to try to cover that the best. Before we do, we're going to go in with our grits. And as far as I can tell, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to mix it in. I obviously did not measure. I usually just take a handful and go, good luck. But we'll put a little bit down here, and then we'll sprinkle a little bit more over in this corner, and then we'll leave this off to the side, and we'll put some more on top, I think. So as everything works down, it's okay. Then our mosquito bits. This is the same container that I've had for the last, I don't know, 2 years or however long I've been doing worms. And I've clearly barely dented it. But also I've been very lucky and we haven't had too many problems. But you can tell as I'm hitting things, there's flies coming out, so awkward. Alright. Now the bedding. I want to use the smaller, finer stuff on the bottom. There we go. Look at all of that. Beautiful. Because that way this is going to fill in a lot of those nooks and crannies a lot better. And this is all dry. I haven't added any moisture at all anywhere. And I'm doing that on purpose because whatever extra moisture is in this bin that's attracting all of these bugs, we want all of this bedding, which there's quite a huge thing. Like that's a full shredder is full, and we're not done. We're gonna add the random bits and bobs from the kitchen, little papers, notes. Put that in there. Shred. None of this is like shredded or anything. And then tissues from the nose, because, getting surgery problems. And then some toilet paper and paper towel rolls. We are maxing this bin out. Now, look at that. It's just the camera, so you can tell, like, really, really full. I mean, we're at the zipper here. So, just for good measure, as things start breaking down, we'll sprinkle a little bit more grit in. Literally, these are just organic grits. I know you can put eggshells in, and I've done it before, but I really like putting the eggshells in my hot composter outside because I think that's more likely to get worked into a soil, whereas a lot of my castings are typically, I don't want to say exclusively top dressing, but usually. So, which I guess they can be fine in. Just a few more mosquito bits, just in case. Now we're going to try to seal this sucker up. And we're going to let this wait. And essentially what we're going to do is we are going to hope that this method will starve out some of the moisture from the mites. Oh my gosh, let me show you this. Look at all of those. Like, this just exploded really quickly, and I think it's just because it's so hot here and everything's so humid. Like, it's almost 1 o'clock right now, and it's down to 60% humidity here, so crazy. Yeah, this was at like 75% earlier, and it's usually a lot higher in the morning, but right now it's 91, 61% humidity, which is bananas, but also Florida. So we're going to starve them out, or we're going to try to starve them out. The worms clearly have food to last them a little bit longer, at least a week or so. Plus, this is all bedding, but it's also food for them too. That was an adventure. Not what I thought we were going to be doing today. I thought we were going to be feeding them again, but you can tell how full this is. we are maxing this sucker out. And it's kind of coming at an interesting time because the water moisture levels in here might wick up and help all of this dry bedding. I don't know. We'll plan on leaving this for a little bit and seeing. But we're coming up, we're a couple months out, but what is this? Like middle, like 3:30, days 3:30-ish. I don't know exactly offhand, but it's almost been a year. So I haven't taken any of the castings out of the bottom yet. Partially it's because, 2 sets of brain surgery can do that to somebody. But I'm wondering if we harvest once we get this under control a little bit better, if that will make things easier or harder for us with the bug maintenance. Because if you think about it, if we harvest from here, and we harvest from the bottom like the bag is intended for, everything's going to sink down. If everything sinks down and we put more bedding on top, will that expedite the bug problem? I don't know. So we're going to think about that over the next week or two while we let this sit. But it's going to be a little while before we get an update on here probably. Or maybe we'll do one just to check on it and see how they're doing in a week. I don't know. We'll see where the world takes us. Okay, friends. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Alessandra. Until next time. Bye.